for attention. I try, but I can't find it. I'm looking for justice. I'm looking for a peace, but these guns on the streets keep popping, keep popping. Why can't we be finding peace? Why can't we be ending all this beef? Why can't we just get along? Peace is right and war is wrong.
So this episode was inspired by Digital Soapbox Network. They have a show called Truth Talks, and on this one it was QG and Crazy Bone, and they were talking about the title of it is Crazy Bone exposes the music industry's satanic secret plot. I want people to go and definitely um listen to what Crazy Bone had to say. Listen to the commentary between him and QG, and really grasp the knowledge and everything that they're trying to be able to put forward. And then once you do that, then what I'm about to say right now could bring more and more clarity to the situation. Now, in the in the um in the episode, Crazy Bone talked about he had an article, he had a letter from a music executive back in '91, and that executive was pretty much scared to not to reveal certain things about this meeting that he had back in the early '90s. So finally, he comes out and he starts to explain what happened in that meeting. And he's saying back in like in early '91, they all came to this house. Different music executives came to a house, and then when they was there, they met another circle of people that really didn't too much mingle with them. And then there was a meeting where they was talking about the future of what hip hop would be. They made everybody pretty much sign a confidentiality agreement. Some people left, some people stayed. But in the meeting, they discussed private prisons. They discussed the building of private prisons. They discussed how individuals can profit off of private prisons. And some of the music executives inside the meeting was like, "Hey, man, like that's all good and everything, but what the fuck does that got to do with what we got to do? Like what our job is and everything as music executives." And then they signed the confidentiality agreement and everything like that. So the people that stayed got to know further about the meeting. And then they were basically like saying that they needed the music executives to be able to add more songs and more artists that represented a criminal element in their music. And their plan was basically was sign all the artists that got criminal shit going on, like talking about killing other niggas, it's talking about selling drugs, it's talking about pimping hoes, it's talking about all these different criminal activities that they do or that they seen in their neighborhood. And the plan was basically to be able to get the consumer to be able to listen to that type of music, and then the consumer would actually go out and commit these crimes in order to be like the artist that was spitting the rhymes, basically. You know, um, and then with the private prison system, they were building them so some of the music execs, I guess, and the people in that circle, that private circle I was telling you about, that was at the meeting, I guess there was the investors in the private prison system that was getting ready to be built, or someone was already built, and they were saying that the more people that goes into these prisons, the more money that the federal government would be able to pay them. So they felt like if they changed the course of hip hop and allow hip hop to be more of um, criminal shit and gangster shit and everything like that. Like I said, it would influence people on the streets and everything to commit crimes, and they would be able to fill those prisons, and they would be able to profit off of it. So the music executives and the companies will get money. The private prisons were getting money, everything. The shareholders and people who own stocks in these private prisons would get money, blah, blah, blah. People would basically get rich. That's pretty much what the meme was about. And of course, the meme was probably much, much deeper, but that's what the plan was. And what Crazy Bone was saying was that was pretty much the sadistic secret plot to be able to monetize off of the artists and have an evil practice as far as like how they were going to be able to make money. Now, I listened to what Crazy Bone said, and that letter is, if it's authentic, and which it probably is, and I don't feel like Crazy Bone would be saying, talking about this if it wasn't authentic. I'm sure Crazy Bone is a pretty stand-up dude and everything, especially when involves giving information to the youth in order to be able to help them, with their knowledge and to be able to survive, because he's been through a lot of shit within the industry. So I'm sure he's passing off gems to future generation of children that want to be in the music industry. So I understand everything that Crazy Bone has said. Now, the problem that I have with it is not necessarily a problem, but the way I have to be able to look at it, I have to look at what America is, right? And I have to look at America being a capitalistic country. I have to look at it. It was born through revolution, which revolution is really being able to change the world. They built their own nation, and and all the things that took with the nation, But the thing is, what America's always about. America's always been like a melting pot. We already know that. So a lot of immigrants will come over here to America. Different cultures will come over here to America, and then what America would do is, in order to keep those people happy within America, they would have to be able to have products and services from their country. So let's just say some people came from Germany, they'll probably have hot dogs. Say some people came from Italy, they probably have pizza, just to give you an idea and everything. So if you came from Croatia, you came from England and America, you will have something from your country and that they can sell it to you, pretty much. So you got all these different cultures here, you know what I mean, all at once. And if you studied America, you'll understand that America profited off of pretty much every single culture. So hip hop to me is the only culture that black people ever created to be proud of besides like their children. It's like the only thing that they've ever been able to create. So at some point, America would eventually try to profit off of hip hop, even though they may have felt like hip hop wasn't shit or it ain't nothing to look at. It's like an investor. It's like an investor sees something, they be like, you know what? I don't think that product is going to be able to do anything in the next 5 years or whatever it may be. I'm not going to invest my money in it. I think it's a waste of time, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people thought that about hip hop. That's why when you're an investor, you kind of knock yourself upside the head, be like, damn, I knew about that shit before anybody and I didn't jump on it and shit. So you'll be mad if that thing creates $100 million or it goes beyond your expectations of what you thought it was going to be. So hip hop pretty much start to flourish and it starts to get bigger and bigger. And one of the things too I want to be able to point out too before I go further is that the young black males have to understand too that at some point education was very, very important. And a lot of the young, and we're talking about we're talking about the 80s and the 90s. We're talking about the crack epidemic, the crack era and everything included in that. A lot of young black males did not go to school. A lot of young black males did not even listen to their own mothers and fathers anymore because they felt like they were making more money than their parents, that their parents couldn't give them no knowledge on how to survive in the world. And a lot of young black males, and we're talking specifically young black males. I'm sure Spanish males thought the same way, but we're talking specifically about the black culture. I'm sure when it was time to go to school, they didn't want to go to school. You hear stories about, yeah, I didn't want to sit in no classroom. I got a car better than my teacher. How am I sitting here listening to what my teacher's talking about, and I got more money in my pocket than she do? So the black male around that time, and even now sometimes, but maybe not as much back then, I'm not sure. But the black males are thinking like, I don't need to listen to what my mom is telling me because I got more money, and I don't have to listen to what my teachers is telling me in school because I got more money, or I'm trying to get money in order to survive. But not knowing that the real knowledge and the real money is what your parents is probably trying to teach you and what the school is trying to teach you.